Going on, guys? It's Joshua, aka Future Filmmaker 39480 from Future Filmmaker 39480 Reviews, giving you guys a new top 10 list where we talk movies, TV shows, and music, all in the same channel. So, with that being said, I figure I wanted to do something I've been planning to do for 2 years now. I just haven't had the time to do this. So, with that being said, I'm giving you guys my personal top 10 favorite Elizabeth Olsen movies. So, when it comes to Elizabeth Olsen as an actress, she is my favorite actress working today. She is my favorite plays my favorite MCU character, Scarlet Witch, and she's a very talented actress, and she's equally as talented as Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen. But this is a personal list for me because I am a fan of this actress and I wanted to celebrate her birthday. So, with that being said, let's get started with the top 10 list. Before I get started on the top 10 list, be sure to comment down below what are some of your favorite movies with Elizabeth Olsen, whether it's MCU or something else, or what is your favorite performance. So let's have a friendly, nice discussion in the comment section down below. All my social media links are in the description box down below. If you want to donate money to Chime, message me privately and I'll tell you how you can do that. And if you want to send fan mail, you can do that as well. With that being said, let's get into the top 10. Before I go into my personal top 10 list, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. In no particular order: Kodachrome, I Saw the Lights, Liberal Arts, Very Good Girls, and Avengers Endgame, or Infinity War Part 2. All great performances from her, especially the last half of Avengers Endgame when she comes back. Y'all know it.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Just couldn't make it onto this list, but this is what did make my top 10 list. At number 10, we have Silent House. This movie was based on true events, and this is based on a short story by the two directors. This is 88 minutes of a horror movie, and like Elizabeth Olsen, the thing of Silent House is that she plays a character her character name is Sarah, and she, as well as John, played by Aidan Turner, they move into this house, and she returns with her father to the house and uncle to fix the long-time house after it was violated by squatters of the off-season. So when they work in the dark, a lot of creepy stuff starts to happen, and this is one of the more underrated films of the last decade, and one of the more overlooked horror films of the last decade. A lot of people say this movie's boring, it's slow, and the ending is anticlimactic. That is the only problem I have with Silent House, is that this movie is anticlimactic towards the end. But I do like the whole one-shot take that we've been seeing in horror movies. In most movies like this, it is shot in one continuous take. It's something different from your usual found footage stuff like the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. Elizabeth Olsen's performance is really great, and not to mention, the camera just loves her hotness. But the rest of the cast is really great. I think the direction is pretty solid, and I do think that this is a scary film. I got scared, I got terrified, and another one of my problems is that you do have to turn the volume up a little high just to understand what they're saying, which that is a little bit of a problem, but I can get over it because Silent House is still a good movie, and if you have not seen Silent House, I definitely recommend checking it out. Number 8 is one of 2 MCU movies you will be seeing on this list. Avengers Infinity War Part 1, or Avengers Infinity War. What more can I say about Avengers Infinity War? Well, I guess I could say that Elizabeth Olsen's performance as Scarlet Witch is great. I think the rest of the cast is really great. The direction is very solid. This is the most action-packed of the Avengers movies. The emotion that she has to go through throughout this entire movie, between the love story between her and Vision, and this ongoing war as Thanos is trying to kill them and kill the other Avengers just to get what he wants. I buy it, and it hurt me when I first saw this movie, seeing her character be disintegrated, and it still very much does, but it does have a payoff when you get to Avengers Endgame. It does take a full hour and a half to get there, but doggone it. When you get to that payoff in that final battle, I love that revenge. I love that sweet revenge scene. And her accent as Scarlet Witch never falls flat. There's not much more I can say about Infinity War. I've praised it up to high heels. Maybe once I do redo my best superhero movies of all time, I will have some more to say. 7th place is In Secret. This is another one of those underrated gems that not many people heard of. You have Elizabeth Olsen, Oscar Isaac, Tom Felton, and Jessica Lange in one movie, and it's basically it takes place in 1860s Paris, and so Therese, who is a young woman, is trapped in a loveless marriage with her husband, Camille, and so what happens is she finds the way to kill him, and so this is based on a novel called Theresa Racquin, and I will say this came out in 2013, and this is a really good film. It's good to see Tom Felton again, even though he's still playing the most unlikable character, the unlikable jerk, which is always the only thing this guy can really do. He never gets a chance to be a good guy. Elizabeth Olsen is standout here right next to Jessica Lange, and Oscar Isaac's pretty good too. Cinematography work and music work is very well done. I do like the way this movie looks. I do like the way this movie is shot. Just some of the writing is not the greatest, but at the end of the day, In Secret is a decent film to make it onto this list. Coming in 6th place is Captain America Civil War. You can't have an Elizabeth Olsen list and not mention how great she is in here. This movie sees Iron Man and Captain America and all the other Avengers. This is basically Avengers 2.0, but I ain't complaining, really, because it's something different. It could focus more on Captain America and his love story with Sharon, but that's not what you go to an MCU movie for. You go to a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie for some good action, great performances, and a good story. And the Russo brothers gives you all that in this one movie. And Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch, once again, is really great. You see the relationship between her and Vision, and then you see how Tony and Captain America bickering with each other does affect that. And she has pretty cool moments in the airport sequence. I really do enjoy it, and I can't wait to see how she teams up with Doctor Strange next year in the Multiverse of Madness, which I am excited for, but my only problem, no Rachel McAdams. So it's alright. But Captain America Civil War, this is everything you could want from a MCU movie and a final film in the Captain America trilogy and more. So this is a phenomenal film. If you have yet to see, what are you doing? Number 5 is Spike Lee's remake of Old Boy. This is a remake of the 2003 Japanese film, the same name, but Josh Brolin. This is the first movie with Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen and Samuel L. Jackson and Palm Clemente working together. Wow, 4 MCU actors working together in one movie. So, an everyday man has 3.5 days and limited resources to discover why he was imprisoned for 20 years without explanation. And when he gets out, he was given revenge on all of them. And so, this is another underrated film. Yes, it is not as good as the original, but I haven't yet to see the original. But I will say that the performances in this movie from Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen are really well done. I do love Samuel L. Jackson's performance as well, who's a regular Spike Lee collaborator. Palm Clemente, Sharlto Copley, really good actor. The performances in this movie are good. I really do love the performances here, and I do enjoy what they take with this film. I do like Spike Lee's take on this film. It's pretty violent, it's pretty bloody, it's pretty intense, and it was cool seeing Thanos, Scarlet Witch in this movie together. Until we get to that ending. When you get to that ending, I'm like, you had us sit through a scene with Thanos and Scarlet Witch basically making out, only for us to find out that she's his daughter. I'm like, what? I know this part of how it was in the original. Tell me in the comments below if you've seen the original Old Boy. Was that in the original? Yeah. But anyways, I think Old Boy is much better than what people give credit for. It's not Spike Lee's worst movie, but it's not one of his best films. And that's come from someone who hasn't watched all Spike Lee's films, on just a handful of them. And at number 4, we have Wind River. Wind River. This movie is so underrated. This movie got snubbed for Oscar nominations for Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen plays a cop in this movie. This is from Taylor Sheridan, the writer of Sicario, Hell or High Water, and Sicario Day of the Soldado. This man knows what he's doing as far as writing and direction. Elizabeth Olsen's performance is really great as the police officer trying to investigate this crime with Jeremy Renner, and I feel like she deserved an Academy Award nomination because she's that great in here. This is not an easy film to watch. It is brutal, it is intense, and the direction and the writing is what makes this movie really impactful. But it's really the performances of its two leads that makes you care about the situation that goes on. You care about what is going on. You care about them wanting to take down this killer and this whole twist and turns. It's just a really great movie that I feel like a lot more people should have seen. Is it the easiest movie to watch? No, but nor is my number 2. But I will say that this is a darn great film with a darn great Oscar-worthy performance from Miss Elizabeth Olsen. At number 3, we have Gareth Edwards' Godzilla 2014. Now, I did review this on the channel back in 2016, but I'm re-reviewing it in anticipation for Godzilla vs. Kong. So you'll be seeing a updated revisited review. So what I'm going to do with that review is that I probably might delete that one, and that one will be the official review once I get to it. But Godzilla 2014, this is one of those underrated movies of 2014 that a lot of people really loved. But for some reason, most of the critics and most audiences didn't really get on board with because of the lack of Godzilla. There's no human characters. If you've seen every other Godzilla movie, Godzilla is the exact same way. Godzilla doesn't appear throughout 100%. But I did like the build up. I did like what Gareth Edwards was trying to do. The only complaint is the human characters are not as interesting, but I forgive that because you don't watch. This does have some good human characters I liked. Bryan Cranston, He's not in the movie as much, but I loved his character. Elizabeth Olsen was the second best human character, and Ken Watanabe and Sally Hawkins I really liked. Aaron Taylor Johnson was okay as the main character. Not the best, but he's definitely not the worst. A lot better than Matthew Broderick's character in Godzilla 1998. And Gareth Edwards' direction I really like. I really love the cinematography. I like the musical score. This Godzilla looks like Godzilla. And while she's not in the movie that much, I will say her performance does leave a lasting impression. So, until I get to that revisited review, this is going to be my little thoughts. So yeah, I mean, at number 2, we have Marcy May Marlene. This was Elizabeth Olsen's first movie, and this is her acting debut. And yeah, this is a hard movie to watch, but it is a really great start for Elizabeth Olsen's incredible acting career that will take off. And her performance in this movie is really great. She plays this girl who is trying to find her way, trying to find her way away from the cults. And so she has a terrible sense of dread in regards to the manipulative leader. And she's trying to find peace after several years with living with a cult. So she lives with her sister, Lucy, played by Sarah Paulson. And I will say that the performances in this movie from Elizabeth Olsen and John Hawkes and Sarah Paulson and Hugh Dancy, and all the performances are really great. I think Sean Durkin, he wrote and directed a really great movie that's not the easiest film to watch, but it's a really great, phenomenally made film with beautiful cinematography, a good story, great writing, and great direction. And it knows what it wants to be. It doesn't try to be anything different, or it doesn't try to be anything less. So, number 2 is Marcy May Marlene. But as my number 1 favorite Elizabeth Olsen movie, this is the movie that introduced me to this actress, and that is Avengers Age of Ultron. I have talked about this movie on my channel. I've ranked this every time I talk about Avengers Age of Ultron, I get happy to talk about this. This was the introductory movie for Elizabeth Olsen, as well as the introductory movie for Scarlet Witch. And I will say, for the first half of this movie, Elizabeth Olsen is playing the bad guy of working for Ultron. But then when you get into the later half of the movie and she helps the Avengers, I'm like, oh, I love this character even more. And yeah, she doesn't have her comic accurate costume, but trust me, WandaVision, we will get there in December. But her performance as Wanda and Scarlet Witch is very subtle, it's very amazingly well done. She has great chemistry with Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver, as well as the other Avengers in the second half. Her scene where she has to break down and cry over the loss of Quicksilver, that was really effective, and you do feel every inch of her emotion when she just allows her powers and she starts screaming. That is a great performance that shows how great of an actress Elizabeth Olsen is. And the rest of the cast is really great too, as well as Joss Whedon's direction. I know this movie has a lot set up for future MCU movies. It didn't need it, but to me, it was necessary to tell you what is finna happen when you get to Avengers 3 and 4 and the other films above. And so, that's why I enjoy it. Avengers Age of Ultron is a great introductory film for Elizabeth Olsen, and I could not have asked for a better movie to to enjoy this actress's work. That being said, those are my top 10 favorite Elizabeth Olsen movies. I want to know in the comments down below what are some of your favorites. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Be sure to follow me on all my social media links in the description box down below for more. And until next time, you guys keep it cool. Enjoy the Epictasticness.